Hey guys, it's your girl, the Duchess. And I mean, honestly, if you're not already on Anchor, what are you doing with your life? This is the new wave, and this is where your podcast could be. It's easy, it's simple, it's on the go. Record your audio and reach the masses. There might be somebody driving on a road trip that needs to hear you right now. Get on Anchor right now. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's the best podcast, best way to go. Right now. Like, right now.
Good morning, family. It's the literally the crack of dawn, and I'm already drinking my coffee. I figured that's when the most divine messages come through. Most people, we grow up thinking, oh, if you wake up at 4 in the morning, that's when the evil spirits are up and it's scary. But actually, it's the opposite. If you find yourself waking up between like 4 and 6 in the morning, those are the times that you're closer and more connected to divine. Those are the times when the world is the quietest, your mind is the quietest. Those are the times where you can actually do work if you really think about it. They don't tell us enough when we're young how much the sun is needed, how much getting air and just a little bit of sun is like a recharge to our body. Like we hear it, but we don't hear it. And I think a lot of the things that we heard growing up are the things that we thought were cheesy and weren't into play. And it's real. It's so real. So real. So this is the newest of testaments. It's an idea that I've been thinking about for a while. I've been called to speak on different topics that I believe in, mixing, spirituality, things that we were taught based on things just straight off of my intuition. And I think it's time that our generation just kind of had like a New Testament, right? Like a New Testament, I don't want to say a new list of commandments because those are pretty solid. Those are some pretty damn good commandments. But it's like our Bibles, our teachings, the things we go by are so outdated and so dated back. Like, yes, of course, that's where the real lessons are. But I think that in our generations, our lifetime, we have a lot of prophets. We have a lot of kings and queens that go unnoticed. We have a lot of deities in our lifetimes that will, transcend in other lifetimes. But how if we don't tell these stories? How if we don't connect it the way that we're connecting it? So I'm going to try to piece things like that together in different episodes. This episode, I'm going to talk about the moral compass. The moral compass and how easily deterred we are with life and how, life happens to us. Things happen to us. When we're younger, we're taught, do to others as you want to be done to you. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Share, because sharing is the right thing to do. But then what happens? We get older, we go to school, someone doesn't share, and we're like, why are we going to share? Someone breaks our toy, and now we're guarding our stuff with dear life. So it's like over time, we start to go backwards with these patterns and these things that we're supposed to do because we get that flight or fight in us. We get that survival mode in us where we think that we have to one up somebody, or it's even in relationships, even being single. I've had someone recently tell me, that, okay, story time. We'll get into that. And dating and morals. Give me a second. But what I'm really trying to say is it's easy for us to go a different direction based on our hurts and the things that we went through. Where we normally would take the high road, over time we start to learn to be petty. And that's not cool. Like, it's funny. It might make you feel good in the moment. But if somebody hurts you, I think the realest way to handle it is either to remove your energy or to speak how you really feel. Speak from a place of vulnerability. When we get hurt, we feel like we have to match that hurt. When we get disrespected, we feel like we have to get, just as disrespectful. But sometimes it's easy to be like, wow, that was disrespectful. That was uncalled for. And I wish you the best. And, it sounds like a cop-out sometimes. It might sound like simping sometimes. Use your discretion to when, this has to happen. But it's taking the high road and having your morals will stop you from stooping to that level. A lot of people are dealing with their shadow shit. And if you're already at peace, if you're already in the midst of healing, you being petty and arguing back with someone and stooping to that level is only going to put you back a few lessons. It's not worth it. So when I speak of the moral compass, me personally, what keeps me on the moral compass is knowing that I've done a lot of work to get here. I've done a lot of work to not be petty. I've done a lot of work to not have to argue with people over small things and to, waste my energy where it doesn't need to be wasted. So it doesn't cost to be nice to people. It doesn't make you corny to support someone, whether you know them or not, because, we always say, oh, our friends don't support us, strangers support us. And sometimes you might think it's corny to support a stranger. I have a lot of friends on social media that I've never met before in my life, and I'll be rooting for these girls. Because that's how my moral compass is set up, that there's no room to be a hater. There's no room to hate. There's only room to, congratulate people and give people their flowers. Your time is coming when it needs to come. Okay? Like, nobody gets left behind in this divine timing. The issue is that moral compass. And you have to check in with it all the time, because you can assume everybody's against you. You can assume the world is happening to you instead of for you. And you're the one that's getting lost. You're the one that's losing direction, because you're too busy trying to match what everybody else is doing and what everybody else is saying. Okay? Even down to working. I'm not saying, you have to go and be the teacher's pet. But how many times do we go to work and it's like, oh, they want us to do all the work, so now I'm not going to do nothing today. Now I'm going to do the complete opposite. And it's like, who does that help? Who does that benefit? No one. It's a vibration. I said all of that to say, life is a vibration. How you feel is a vibration. What you give out is a vibration. What you receive is a vibration. It doesn't matter how right you are. If you feed into that vibration, you'll be just as wrong as the people who did it to you. Okay? Have your moral compass set up that it's only the highest of vibrations. If someone does you wrong, that's on them. That's a them thing. Yes, it's going to hurt. Yes, you're going to want to scream. Yes, you're going to want to, get your rounds off and say what you feel like you need to say. But is it helpful? Is it going to do anything for you? Is it going to do anything for them but set them off and trigger them more? A friend of mine told me some really good advice about, when people are being mean to you. Kids always think, oh, I'm going to be mean right back. I'm going to match their energy, And then once you get to a spiritual level, you start to hear things like, oh, well, send it back to their higher self. Reflect it back to them. That's a common misconception in spirituality, is that reversal. Is telling people, oh, well, whatever somebody does to me, I want it to turn around and do it back to them. For what you want to make that spirit angry for? If they already have these shadow issues, what you want to go attacking them more for? You say, listen, I want their higher self to make it as clear as possible to them how and where they had me fucked up. And it's just like that. Like, nobody's telling you to turn around and be an angel overnight. But you literally are working on your karma. This is your simulator. This is your matrix. This is your life. Okay? There's no reason for you to want to be set back just so you can match someone else's petty. That's the biggest trick. That's the biggest misconception in human life. We all have free will for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And it's for reasons like those. Because before, everyone was running around trying to just appease and do the right thing. God said, nah, let me give you free will so I can see how you really act. But we have just gotten so deep and so quick to match people's energy that we've become We've become people that we're not, based out of survival. There's a lot of people who are just, playing the game to survive, and that's not really the type of person you are. That's not the type of person you were raised to be. That's not the type of person you were when you were a kid. And I think a lot of meditations, my advice would be to do a lot of inner child healing meditations. You could go in the mirror and talk to yourself. Act like you're talking to your younger self and telling them how proud you are of all the progress that they made. I think that a good healing is looking back and look back at the people who did you dirty. And look at where they are in their life and the things that they had to go through. You didn't have to intervene in their karma for karma to catch up to them and for their things. That's not your job. That's God's job. You know what I'm saying? It's God's job to teach people the hard lessons that sometimes you might not even be able to see. Yes, people hurt you. Yes, people do, mean things to you. But your moral compass has to be so tight and such at an all-time high that shit has to be able to bounce off of you. Okay? Because it's not worth being just as petty. It's not worth setting your karma back. It's not worth adding another fucking soul tie to you. Okay? And we're going to get into that in another episode for the ladies. Men too, because we don't know. They out there that think that, in spirituality, you can do spell work and do things to get people to go against their free will and love you. That is very toxic. That is very soul binding, and that is very, very karmically going to catch up to you in the next lifetime. Whatever you attach yourself to in this lifetime, you will be the victim in the next lifetime. So be careful when you're doing things like that. A lot of people are under spells they don't even know about. Okay, but it's up to you to just ask God to intervene and protect you. Okay, especially for my men who are not in tune and don't believe in it. There's a lot of men who have crazy baby mamas that have bindings on them, and they will never know because in their mind, this is what it is. And to someone who doesn't believe in spirituality, how can you tell them that? So I don't think it's our place to tell them. I don't think it's our place to intervene. I don't think it's our place to get in the middle of things. I don't think it's our place to fight these things. I think this is just us having to accept this lifetime, understand that not everybody is on the same moral compass, but ours has to be tight. Not everybody is as nice as you. Not everybody is as considerate and compassionate as you, but that's on them. That's not on you. You can't lower yourself. You can't lower your standards. You can't lower your way of doing things just to match someone's energy, because why would you want to match that energy? Period. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at the Duchess of Jersey. The Newest Testament will be up weekly. These are channeled rants. It's like 6 a.m. and I'm just going off the rail right now, sitting in front of my altar. There is a full moon this week coming up Wednesday, full moon eclipse. Now, the last full moon eclipse changed my life. I literally went on a vacation in between the two full moon eclipses. And me and my best friend, it was right after the pandemic. We went on this vacation. We did like a lot of ancestral trauma work. So we wrote letters to our grandparents, ones that we met, ones that we've never gotten to meet, our great-grandparents. We asked for the ancestral, traumas and dramas and patterns that we wanted to break. We wrote love letters to ourselves. We did all types of work. Then my roommate decided she was going to stay in Florida, which was also my co-host for a different show. So that was life-changing because that show ended. I started doing tarot. And I started, not for nothing, going from media to tarot, my Instagram, double, tripled followers overnight. And I was heartbroken. I missed my show. I thought me and my best friend were breaking up forever. But we didn't. We talked through it. Everything was fine. Now I have another house to go to when I go to visit Florida. She's doing her thing. I'm doing my thing. I couldn't be more happier with how things turned out. But at that time, it felt like a tower moment. It felt like everything was shifting and I didn't understand how life was changing. There was a karmic cycle I was trying to break. at that time, and I didn't break it the way I thought I was breaking it, and it came back, and now I'm breaking it again. So I do feel like these full moons, these portals, get on it, get into it, make it your ritual. The body loves rituals, the soul loves rituals, ancestors love rituals. The more we get into a pattern of every full moon, whether it's lighting your candle, taking a bath, charging your crystals, or writing your manifestations, the repetition is what creates the portal between you and your higher self, so you could connect a little bit more. Like I was going off with that story, if my moral compass wasn't set up the way it was, me and my best friend still wouldn't be friends. You know, I would have took the loss or the breaking up of my old show, Finesse and Chill. Shout out to Finesse and Chill, battle rap. And I would have took that as like a ultimate betrayal. And it wasn't a betrayal. It's just life changed and things had to change. And here I am on another show. Like, things transcend and things get better no matter what happens. But your moral compass has to be tight, or else you're going to let your feelings, your ego, your pride, you're going to let all of that overcome you and ruin shit. Okay? So, cheers to the full moon. Cheers to the eclipse. I'll be back to tell you how everything went. Feel free to hit me up on social media and let me know what you're doing for the full moon and how you feel about your moral compass.